Hello, dear students. I am Dr. D.D. Gupta, Associate Professor in English. I have been posted in your college just 2 days before, and I have joined here. Therefore, I have been given this work, this job, to record videos and lectures for your study. So, this video is for BA Part 2nd, Paper 1 of your syllabus. The name of the paper is Poetry and Drama. In this paper, we have poems as well as dramas. First, we will go with the poems and then we will study about drama. For right now, I have a poem of your syllabus that is written by William Wordsworth. And the name of the poem is The World is Too Much with Us. William Wordsworth was born in 1770 and died in 1850. He was a great poet of nature, one of the greatest poets of English literature of all time. He was born in 1770 at Cockermouth in Cumberland. He was educated at St. John's College, Cambridge. He was an ardent admirer of French Revolution. That is, William Wordsworth was influenced by the ideas of French Revolution. The Romantic revival starts with Wordsworth, and we can say that Wordsworth was the founder of Romantic movement. And the Romantic movement is famous for the French Revolution. That is, all the poets and the writers of this period were influenced by French Revolution. And you know very well about the French Revolution, that it was for the friendship, for the fraternity, for the equality, etc. Wordsworth was not a poet of nature, but he was also a poet of humanity as well. Most of his poems deal not only with the beauty of nature, but they also deal with the influence of nature on man. That is, his stress is upon the influence of nature on man. He has written several poems about simple people living in the countryside. So his poems are also very simple. They are simple to understand, simple context, simple vocabulary, etc. And so far about his life is concerned, he lived many years in the Lake of Districts of England, and as I told you, he is called the father of Romantic revival. So far his famous works are concerned, we have lyrical ballads with Coleridge. He has written lyrical ballads with Coleridge. Coleridge is also a romantic poet, a nature poet. And this lyrical ballads, that is a collection of poems, was written in 1798. Wordsworth wrote the Prelude, again the poem of nature, in 1805. He has written a beautiful poem on nature or about nature, that is lines composed about the Tintern Abbey and Lucy poems also. He has written Ode, Intimations of Immortality in 1802. He also published poems The name of the collection is Poems in two volumes in 1807. So before we go with the introduction of the poem, let me tell you, let me recite or let me speak or let me quote what is the poem that we are going to analyze today. And the name of the poem, as you know very well now, the world is too much with us. Late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature, that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon. The winds that will be howling at all hours, and are up gathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I would rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn, have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreath on. So this is the poem for us today. We have to understand the poem. We have to get the meaning of the poem. We have to get the thought behind this poem of the poet. So let me first tell you that this poem is a sonnet, a beautiful sonnet ever written by William Wordsworth. And you know very well about the sonnet. What is a sonnet? You have already read in your previous class the types of sonnets, the meaning of sonnets, the structure of the sonnet. So you know very well, let me just repeat that a sonnet is a short poem of 14 lines. Okay? There are two types of sonnets which are very much popular or which we read. One is Shakespearean, another is Miltonic, or we can say Italian, or we also can say it classical sonnets. Wordsworth, this sonnet, The World is Too Much with Us, is Italian, or we can say Miltonic sonnet, that is based on Milton's structure. And you have also read some poems or some sonnets from Milton as well. That is, this sonnet is also divided in two parts. The first part contains 8 lines. The second part contains 6 lines. So the first part, which contains 8 lines, is called octave part, and the last 6 lines are called the sestet part of the sonnet. So this is the structure of the sonnet. We also see the rhyme scheme of the sonnet, Miltonic sonnet. That is, the rhyme scheme is A, B, B, A. A, B, B, A. And the last 6 lines, C, D, E and C, D, E. This is that we have the rhyme scheme of the sonnet. Now let's go with the introduction of this poem or introduction of this sonnet. As I told you, based on Miltonic sonnet, it was written on 18th May 1806 by William Wordsworth. And the thought of this sonnet is, according to William Wordsworth, that no religion can be vital that does not make nature full of noble meaning for us. That is, William Wordsworth discards every religion except only this religion, and this religion is the nature religion. That is, if any religion which makes nature full of noble meaning for us, that is only the religion we should follow. Another thing in this poem is that the poet is worried for the growing tendency of the people towards wealth and wasteful pleasures. That is, people are collecting, running after money, and in order to collect the money, they are wasting their pleasures as well as their energies in useless things. Then we have the words in this poem which might be easy for you, but here I have given the meaning of those difficult words in the poem I thought, so that your poem will be comprehended or understood very well. So let us go first with the poem. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending. So here the world means here we the people who are engrossed with materials, with the worldly pleasures. That is, that we are, just a minute, we are with the world, with the ambitions, with the pursuit of wealth and wasteful pleasures. So here the world means that we the people who are ambitious and who are in the pursuit of wealth as well as wasteful pleasures. We are concerned, so that this world is too much with us. We people are too much engrossed with the world. And what is this world? This world is the pursuit of wealth and wasteful pleasures. So we have attached ourselves too much with the worldly affairs, worldly matters. Late and soon means at all hours. So we are attached ourselves with the worldly affairs all the time, 24 hours, 365 days, all years. In we are lay waste our powers. So we are wasting our spiritual powers in search of low material gains. So Wordsworth, the poet, here says that all the time we are running after earning the money, earning the wealth, increasing the wealth, and in order to getting the wealth, we people are wasting our spiritual energy just in order to get the material gains, profits, benefits, so that we can become the rich. Then the poet says that little, let's go with the lines. Little we see in nature that is ours. That is, we are not looking towards the nature which is ours. We must love the nature. But the contemporary people of Wordsworth's time, they are not moving towards the nature. They are not taking interest in nature. Nature which is ours, nature which nurtures us, nature which takes care of us, nature that builds us. But we are not paying any attention towards the nature. We are not appreciating the wealth of nature, but we are just running after getting and spending money, as well as we are spending our time in eating, breeding, and sleeping. This is what the poet says in this poem. Then, in another line, in the next line, he says, we have given our hearts away a sordid boon. That is, we have surrendered ourselves, the hearts and souls which are so rich. We have the spiritual hearts and souls, but we have given that to this sordid boon. Here, the sordid boon is for the world. So, the world is a dirty boon for us. Why it is dirty? Dear students, it is dirty because we are attached ourselves to the world too much, to the worldly things too much. We have given our hearts and minds, souls to this world, just busy in earning money and spending as well. These are the 4 lines that we have of this poem. The next 4 lines, let us see then what the poet says. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours and are gathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. So now, in these 4 lines, the poet explains his love for nature. He describes the scene of nature. And what is that scene? What is that description? He says, this sea, the sea that is before us, bears its bosom, that is the broad, vast, this vast sea, vast heart or chest or the span of the sea is before us, and it is shining in the moonlight, shining in the moonlit. Another scene he creates, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and the winds which are howling, making roar at all the time. But now, which wind? The winds which are blowing, roaring in this sea at the time of day, at all hours, means at the time of day, full day. But now, in the night, they are also upgathered. That is, they have come together, they have become silent. They are not making now any roaring noise. So here poet compares these winds, roaring winds, with the sleeping flowers. Now these winds are stopped and there is cool, calm, peace in the sea. So they are like sleeping flowers. So flowers make no noise in the night. That is, we say that they are sleeping. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. So here poet says that for all these things, all these beauties of nature, all these aspects of nature which are given by God to us, which are before us for our pleasure, for our delight, for our enjoyment, but we are out of tune, means we are not paying any attention towards the beauty of nature. We are not admiring the beauty of nature. So the poet William Wordsworth is an ardent lover of nature. Nature is everything for him. Okay? Okay. Now let's see another 6 lines, the last 6 lines of this sonnet. Then he say, it moves us not. That is, it means here the description that he has given in the previous 4 lines. And the description or the scene is of the sea, the calm, peaceful sea. The water is shining in the moonlight. The winds are also silent now. But this beautiful picture or the scene or the sight also does not move us. We are not influenced by it. Great God. So the poet says, oh, great God. What kind of man, what kind of people we are here on this earth? We have absolutely become materialistic, not paying any attention to our soul, spirit, and nature. And he says, great God, I would rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outlaw. So the poet says that I would not accept any religion upon this earth. That is, here the poet dislikes the Christian religion. He wants to create his own religion, and that religion is the nature religion. So he says that he would like to be a pagan. Pagan were the followers in the ancient Greek, or the followers of nature. They were the devotee of nature. So that religion was the nature religion in the ancient time in the Greece. So he wants to become a pagan. Pagan, the followers who suckled in a creed outworn, that is, who developed that religion or that faith. A creed means here a faith or religion which is outworn, which is no more there. That is, which is not present now. So this was the ancient religion, ancient faith, and the people who followed this faith were called pagan. So here Wordsworth also wants to become a pagan. Suckled. Suckled means here engaged in a creed, in a faith which was outworn, which is no more there, which is not now in existence. Why he wants to become a pagan? He says, so might I, so that I may or I might, standing on this pleasant lea. Standing on this pleasant lea means meadow, grassland. So if I am a pagan or the follower of that religion, that faith, and that faith is of the faith for nature, so I would be standing on this pleasant meadow and would get the benefit and would get the benefit himself by glimpses, by looking at the beautiful sights of nature. And if he will be in the company of nature, he would not feel any loneliness. Here that would make me less forlorn. That is, I won't feel solitudeness there because I will be in the company of nature there. So these pagans have developed many deities, the part of the nature. Just like sun is also a god, moon is also a god, the trees are also supposed to be god, the particular tree is supposed to be that kind of god. So they created so many god and goddesses in the name of the trees, in the name of the nature. So the poet also wants to be in that position so that, or in the company of nature, so that he would not feel loneliness, because the nature is with him, and nature is supposed to be the god and goddesses or the deities. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea as well. The poet says he would also enjoy having the sight of Proteus who is coming out from the sea. So when standing upon the sea, he would be able to see the Proteus, and Proteus is also, we can say, the god of sea, who was supposed to change himself in different forms. He has he has the power. He had the power to form himself into different forms. So the poet says that he would also enjoy seeing the sight of Proteus who is coming, who is rising from this sea. Or what else he would enjoy? He would also enjoy standing upon this sea, hearing old Triton blow his wreathed horn. So, hearing the ancient Triton. Triton is also the god of sea. So, the poet would hear the blow of the conch shell. Wreathed horn, horn means um, uh, conch, wreath means twisted. So the horn or the conch shell is twisted. शंख जिसको अपन कहते हैं, शंख ट्विस्टेड होता है. सो यहाँ द पोइट वांट्स टू से दैट ही वुड हियर and enjoy the company of old Triton who is blowing his conch shell. So, see how the poet is presenting the sights and scenes of nature before us. That is live, he is presenting the live picture of the nature before us. And we also begin to imagine as if we are standing at the sea, we are standing at a meadow, we are standing in a meadow where the moon is shining in the night, and the sea, the water of the sea is shining, and where the winds are now silent. So this is what we have in this sonnet. In fact, I have explained to you this sonnet line by line, and so far the meaning of the words, difficult words I have given here. You can go through them and can enrich yourself. Bears her bosom means exposes her vast bosom to the silver light of the moon, as I explained to you. And a pagan is a follower of old faith that flourished before Christianity. So this was the faith, old ancient faith in Greece, and it was flourishing widely, and it was before Christianity. The Christian religion came later on. Suckled, as I told you, nourished, brought up, creed outworn, faith now that is old, obsolete, no more there. And Proteus, an old man of sea, possessing power of assuming any shape. It can take any shape. So the poet wants to enjoy himself with Proteus, who is coming out from the sea, rising from the sea, as well as Triton, a minor sea deity who used to blow his conch shell, as I already explained to you. Then I have given the explanations of these lines, which I have already explained in my lecture. You can go through the meanings, the explanations here. That is, the stress of the poet is that we should pay a little attention towards nature. We should appreciate the beauty of the nature, and we should not busy ourselves with the material pursuit of life. So, this is what for this poem I have for you. If you have any difficulties, even then, not able to understand the poem, you may contact to me on my phone. I am also going to join you on your WhatsApp number, and then I would share the PDF of this video lecture to you, and there we can exchange our comments. So, for just now, thank you very much, and I hope that you will enjoy this video as well. Thank you very much.